want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. My 10-year-old son asked me this simple question that stumped me. How did the salt water and the fresh water separate after the flood? Now, let me preface my answer that I'm not an oceanographer, I'm not a meteorologist, and I'm not a geologist. But I do know a little something about the Bible. And so that being said, let me address this question from a purely biblical text, not from a, quote, scientific perspective, even though I believe that all science eventually finds itself under the direction, guidance of Scripture. Noah's flood, Genesis chapter 6 through 9, one of the most catastrophic events known to man outside of what we know the coming Great Tribulation found in the book of Revelation. What do we know? That prior to that event, it had never rained. What we know is the water cycle, the evaporation of water into clouds descending upon the earth, was not a part of humanity's experience. Yet we do know that there were bodies of water. There were opportunities for the Mediterranean Sea, etc., because the Bible talks about earlier that the Lord had separated the waters with the land, etc., in the creative accounts. Now, the question is, how did we get the salt water, the fresh water? Allow me to address this from two perspectives. Number one, when the rain begins to happen in Noah's flood for 40 days and 40 nights, there's actually two descriptions given. It talks about the water from above, and it talks about the water from below. And so you get the idea that not only did it rain for the very first time, but also that within the oceans, there was some type of turbulence where the water increased, shall we say, to the planet. The second thing I want to address is that what we know as fresh water is a part of that water cycle. So hypothetically, and again, I know I'm not an oceanographer, but if you have water from the ocean, who obviously is salt-based, and it evaporates, and in the process of evaporating finds itself in a cloud over mainland United States, when it falls, it's going to be fresh river water that eventually then will go into what we know as the ocean. So again, I think you have the account in Genesis of water above and water below, in conjunction with a water cycle that did not exist prior to Noah's flood. Additionally, the fact that even the salt water that evaporates out of the ocean, when it does come through the water cycle, can fall as fresh water on the land. Again, I apologize for my lack of specific scientific background, but I think the Bible gives us a lot of room for how both waters can exist post-flood, because pre-flood, there was no true water cycle or rain cycle. Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.